All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Play Posit Math with Mr. Hyde. Good to see you all today. Let's go ahead and let's get started with today's standard. So we are going to do 5.6a, which, friends, means that we are starting to get into some addition and some subtraction of some fractions with like and unlike denominators. Okay, so we are going to actually talk all about that today. So let's get rolling. Real quick review of some vocabulary here. Remember that fractions have two parts, right? They have their top number, which is the numerator, and they have the bottom number, which is our denominator, because that number is on the bottom. Get it? Denominator, the bottom. I'm so funny. Anyway, so when we think all about fractions, we can also think, friends, about division. Okay, remember, every fraction shows division. It is our numerator divided by our denominator. So think about that as we go, because it is a very important thing to excuse me, a very important thing to remember as we are trying to find a common denominator. All right, so when we add fractions with like denominators, what does that mean? Well, friends, that right there simply means that our bottom two numbers are the same digit. So in this case, this is 1/5 plus 2/5. All right, and since our denominators are already the same, okay, what that means is that then we can just start adding. Now, anytime that our denominators are the same, we just bring that same digit right over here and it becomes a fifth as well. Okay, so anytime that we add or subtract, our denominator stays the same the entire way through. Okay, and then we just combine, in this case, because it is plus, we just combine our two numerators here. So 1 plus 2 equals 3. So that right there gives us 3/5. All right. But, what do we do if we don't have like denominators? What if we have unlike denominators? Don't panic. Don't panic. We've got this. Okay, we can do it. We can do it. Now, new vocabulary. Okay, we are going to try to find the least common multiple. Okay, what that means is that when we make two different lists of our multiples, okay, in this case here of 3s and 4s, we find one that is closest to the top in both lists that are the same. So in 3s and 4s, we are going to go off to the side and we are going to make our list. 3, 6, 9, 12, right? 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4. And then do the same thing for the 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16. Ooh, we found a common one, right? 12 is in both lists. So therefore, friends, we will use that to create some equivalent fractions. Okay, which we will then get into here in just a couple of minutes. All right, so that is one new term, right? Least common multiple. All right, but there's another way that we can do this too, called the easiest common. All right, so let's watch our friend here from math to see what he does.
How does this easiest common denominator method work? Well, even though this is an easy method, it might sound a little complicated at first. But don't worry, it'll make a lot more sense once you've seen a few examples. In this method, the common denominator is always going to be the product of the bottom numbers. In other words, it will be the number you'd get if you multiplied the bottom numbers together. Basically, all we're going to do is take the two different bottom numbers and make two different whole fractions using them. Then we're going to move the whole fractions to the opposite sides and multiply them by our unlike fractions. Doing this will give us two new equivalent fractions that will have the same bottom number. Then we can add or subtract them easily. Okay, let's try a couple examples so we can see this method in action. Let's add the fractions 2 over 5 and 1 over 3.
All right, so we are going to actually do that one together right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up a whiteboard for us here. And what I need you guys to do is to please write it down on your side as well. Okay, because there's going to be a few questions that you need to respond to as we go through today's video. All right, so let me pull up a shared screen here, new share. I would like my whiteboard. And this problem is 2/5 plus 1/3. All right, so we have 2/5 plus 1/3. Now, to find the least common multiple, okay, we need to come right over here and, friends, make our two different lists. So we're going to make our 3's list and we are going to make our 5's list, right? So as we do this, we've got to remember that what we are going to be doing is doing 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, and just kind of sticking them right beneath here. So 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 4, 12. 3 times 5, 15. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for now. Draw this line a little bit longer, and then we can move over here to our 5's. 5 times 1, 5. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times 5 is 25. All right, looking at that list there, what do you see as our least common multiple? Go ahead and respond to that question now. Nice work. You guys figured it out. It is right there. It's 15, right? 15. So what that means is that we need to now create two equivalent fractions to these guys right over here so that then we can then add them together. Okay? So when we do that, we are going to be writing them out like this. Okay? So what I want you to then please do now is please write out 2/5, okay, times a fraction bar like that, okay, equals a fraction with 15 as our new denominator. Okay, so then we can then come back over here to our list and say, well, this is 5 times 1, this is 5 times 2, 5 times 3. So we will do 5 times 3 equals 15. Now, here is the important part, friends. Whatever we do to the denominators, we've also got to do to our numerators. Okay, so this 3 has got to go on top of this fraction too. Now, 3/3 is the same thing as 1. Okay, 3/3 is the same thing as 1 whole. What that means is that, friends, we are not changing the value of this fraction at all, okay? It is the same piece of the entire pizza pie still, right? It is going to mean the same thing, but we are just changing the way that we see it for this particular math problem, okay? So then we will take our 2 and multiply it straight across, okay, just like we did for the 5 here, okay? We did 5 times 3 and got 15. So now we do 2 times 3 to get 6. Okay, so 6/15 is the same piece of the entire pizza pie as what 2/5 is, okay? We just cut each of those 2 slices into 3 slices each. Okay, so that now we have 6 total slices, but it's the same size pie. Okay, same size. I hope that that makes sense there, okay? All right, so now let's do this next one together, okay? If we have 1/3, all right, we are going to be multiplying it by a fraction to get a fraction with the 15 as a denominator, okay? So what do we multiply 3 by? So 3 times what is going to bring us to 15? Go ahead and please respond to that question now. All right, nice work, nice work. Now, you could have gone back over here and gone, well, 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, and 3 times 5, okay? You could have done that. You could have already had it memorized. You could have even looked right over here at this problem and gone, well, if 5 times 3 is 15, then 3 times 5 is also 15, right? So it doesn't matter how you got there. What does matter is that you got there. Okay, so we have 3 times 5 equals 15. Well, friends, since we did that to the bottom, what do we need to put on top? Respond to that question now. You got it. It is another 5 because, again, remember, we are not changing its value. We are changing the way that we see it so that then we can complete this problem. So 1/3 is going to be the same thing as whatever pops up over here, right? So since we did 3 times 5, to get 15. Now we've got to do 1 times 5 because whatever we do to the bottom, we've got to do it to the top, okay? So 1 times 5 comes out to 5. So friends, we now have 2 new fractions that mean the same as the other fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually write them right above them right over here, okay? So we have 6/15, which is the same thing as 2/5, plus 5/15, which is the same thing as 1/3. Okay, so now that our two denominators are the same, we just drag that right over here to our response side of things. Okay, so I'm going to draw my fraction bar, and then I'm just going to bring that 15 right over here. That there stays the same. All right, and then friends, we can go ahead and do 6 plus 5. Okay, 6 plus 5 equals 11. So our final response to 2/5 plus 1/3 is 11/15. 11/15. All right, so then friends, you might say to yourselves, well, what do I do for the easiest common denominator? Well, if we have this, okay, let's say that we've got 2/3 plus 3/4. Okay, all that we have to do to find the easiest common denominator, okay, is to take 3 and just multiply it by 4. And we know that 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay, so then when we take our 2/3, all right, we're going to be 2/3 times a fraction equals a fraction with a 12 as a denominator. Okay, so we can then know that 3 times 4 equals 12, and whatever we do to the bottom, we've got to do it to the top. So we put the 4 on top. So now that's 4/4, and remembering that 4/4 is the same as 1, right? So again, we are not changing its value. We are changing the way that we look at it. Friends, do you think that that is a very important statement? It is. That is why, friends, I just keep on saying it over and over again, okay? We are not changing its value. We are changing the way that we see it so that then we can more easily complete this math problem, okay? So we did 3 times 4. So now we can do 2 times 4. So 2 times 4 comes out to 8, okay? So that is all that you do for this particular style of a problem there, for the easiest common multiple, okay? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's go ahead and let's pull our screen back up over here. And let's move on, okay? So I want you right now to take a couple of minutes, all right, and please respond to this question. 1/2 plus 1/3, right? What is going to be our least common multiple? Or we could also call it our least common denominator, right? What digit is going to be on our new fractions? All right, let's go ahead and let's review what you just did. So friends, you could have done, as we've said, one of two things. You could have made a list of the multiples, okay, and done it like this. 2s and 3s, okay. Done 2, 4, 6. That's a bad 6, but I can fix it. There we go. 8, and then over here, 3, 6, 9, 12, okay. And then said, oh, there it is. I found it. It's my 6. There's a 6 here and there's a 6 here. Or in this case, it's at, excuse me. Pardon me, friends. For this particular problem, it's going to come out to the same thing if we just do 2 times 3, right? So 2 times 3 for the easiest common comes out to 6 as well. So both should have come out to 6. All right, so then if we finish this problem off, we're going to have 1/2 times a fraction equals a fraction with a 6. All right, well, we know that 2 times 3, as we see right over here, 2 times 1, 2, 3, right, comes out to 6. So we got to do the same thing to the top. 1 times 3 equals 3. So we have 3 6 plus, let's do 1/3. 1/3 times a fraction will be a fraction with the 6 as a denominator. We know that 3 times 2 equals 6, so we got to do the same thing to the top of that one as well. So 1 times 2 equals 2. So we now have 3 6 plus 2 6, okay? So as we write that back out again, I like to always do my fractions side by side like that because it just makes it easier. So 3/6 plus 2/6 equals what? What does that come out to, friends? You got it. 5/6. Excellent work. Excellent work. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for us today. If friends, you have any questions, let me clear that board there for you. Please feel free to reach out to your teachers and we will gladly respond to your questions. It is good to be with you today and I look forward to a fun math class next week. See you all soon. Have a great day.